Congratulations on your purchase of your Haotian laser system. I'm David, and today I'll guide you through the unboxing and initial setup of your new machine. By this time, you should have been assigned a dedicated engineer to help you with a setup process. It's crucial that you do not attempt to operate the machine without the guidance of our technical support team. Before we proceed, please ensure you have thoroughly read through your user manual, that you've made contact with your assigned support engineer, have this video ready as a reference during your setup, have a clean, spacious work area, and someone to help you lift heavy components if needed. Before we start unboxing, let's review some important safety considerations. Use proper lifting techniques and get assistance for heavy items. Keep all packaging materials until setup is complete and testing is successful. Have a fire extinguisher rated for electrical fires nearby. Ensure your workspace has proper ventilation. Clear your workspace of any obstacles before beginning. Step 1, inspect the packaging. Check for any visible damage to the shipping crate. If there is any, please make sure you document with pictures and send them to your representative. Step number 2, remove the outer packaging. Carefully open and lift off the top panel. Remove each item carefully and keep all packaging materials for future transport needs if that was to ever happen. We are gonna go over the inventory. So let's start by unboxing and let's go through each piece that comes inside the crate. We'll see you guys in a bit. All right, a couple things to consider is when you open in this box, make sure you get a hammer of some sort and a wrench of something that is gonna be able to help you open up this box. This box is made out of wood, so it's a pretty hefty crate. And just be very careful when you're opening up. But I just opened it up, and to my right here, I have this box here that has the Haotian laser system. I did just pull out the base. So the first thing that's gonna be on top of that box is gonna be your base. So make sure you carefully pull out the base and make sure you unwrap it because it does have plastic wrap over it. But let's start by taking out the smaller things. So first off, we're gonna take out this ruler that comes in the actual packaging. So make sure you get this ruler, take it to the side. And guys, we're gonna set this up. It's super straightforward, super easy. And the next thing that I'm gonna get is gonna be the actual Galvo laser, the head unit. So I'll go ahead and get that here and show you guys in a bit. As you're taking out this system, make sure you pull out each item individually. I will say that you have to pull out the Galvo unit carefully because you do not want to break the fiber. But the first thing that I saw out of there is going to be this remote. So this is going to be the remote control that allows you to go up and down on the machine. Instead of you having to use the crank, you could actually use the remote control. So let's get that, put it to the side. The next thing that I see here is we're going to get the safety glasses. And one of the things that I like about this is that it comes with safety, right? So safety first, we all know that that's important. So make sure you put those to the side as well. The next thing we're gonna get that you're gonna wanna see from out of this bag, is you're gonna see a bag with a bunch of extras. So let's go over those extras real quick. First, you're gonna have the provided USB cable that would go to your computer. We also have a couple screws that are included in the package, so make sure you put those to the side and keep this in a safety place or in a safe place. And we also have an extender, a USB extender if you need it. Again, make sure you carefully pull each thing out and kind of like lay out where things are at. The next thing that we have here is going to be a couple more screws. Now we have to note that each item or each bag is labeled accordingly. So for example, these screws are for the rotary. These screws are for the laser path. These screws are for the position plate. And these screws are for the tower. So we'll set these to the side and we'll show you guys here in a bit how to go about putting each one together. Also included is a USB cable, which has the specific file and the program that you're gonna need for this particular laser. I will say though, if you want to use the EasyCAD program that's included in here, you can. Or you could also buy a Lightburn Galvo program, and we'll leave the link in the description below so you guys can have access to that as well. So put that to the side. And then there's also some test items to test out the machine when you first launch it. Put that to the side. We have a set of wrenches, so make sure you use that, or you can use your own, however you'd like. And then we have these bars. These, I believe these are called the positioning bars. So make sure you put these to the side, and we'll be using these later on in the video, okay? So up next, we have more items that we have to pull out. So for example, I got two lenses. I got the 110 and the 210 millimeter lens. So the one that's in the box, it is a 110. So make sure you pull that lens out carefully. Don't drop it because these things are fragile and you don't want to break them. Next thing we have here is the foot pedal. Make sure you guys get the foot pedal, and this is what it actually looks like. So it's a foot pedal and you connect this to the back of the machine. So we'll set this to the side as well, as we'll connect it and we'll need it for a later time. And let's see here. Up next, we are going to take out this is what they call the tower. So this tower actually goes on the machine like this. As you can see, the tower is connected on the machine like that. So we'll set that there and leave it there for now. So this right here is going to be your initial unit, which is gonna be your tower. So we'll make sure we have that ready. Now, the next big thing here we're gonna need is make sure you have your power cord. So this is the power cord that's included. So make sure you have this out and ready to go. All right, up next here, it's very important, like I mentioned earlier, be very careful with this entire tubing, because this tubing does have your fiber. And if your fiber breaks, then you'd have to return the machine and get it serviced, and that'll take, some time. So make sure you take it out carefully. My best recommendation is pull out this laser gabo out first and set it to the table sideways like this, in a way that your cord is not bent. Now up next, we're gonna pull out the actual head of the unit that has everything, the brains and the operations of the whole thing. So, and the last thing that we have here in the box is going to be the tumbler cup rotor. So make sure you guys do not throw away the foam part, because the foam part actually has more accessories that's gonna go for this particular item. So this rotor is going to be for your tumbler cups. So make sure you guys have it and set it to the side, and we'll be connecting this at a later time. So we'll set this here along with all the accessories that this rotor comes with. So we've taken out the rotor for the tumbler cups, and then just really quick, this is going to be your main head unit. This is going to be your galvo laser. This is going to be your tower, and this is going to be your base. And then here we have all of our accessories that came with the actual machine. And we have our rotary there, our supplies. The most fun thing that actually came out in this package is going to be Mr. Pascal himself. So shout out to Mr. Pascal, sir. Thank you very much. And we're super excited. So without further ado, let's just get ready to install this machine. So let's go step by step. Okay. First things first, we are actually going to fasten our tower to our base using the tower screws that were provided. So we're gonna go ahead and insert all 4 screws to the corner, and make sure the easiest way to have an orientation on this is make sure you are, if you're looking from the back side to the front of the machine, make sure you set everything up on the left-hand side. If you're looking at the machine from the front to the, like from the front, make sure it's set up on the right-hand side. So with the, you can use the Allen wrenches provided, or you can have your own. I chose to have my own. So with your provided tools, make sure you start to slowly fasten. My biggest advice is crisscross. Whenever you fasten, whenever you start tying these up, make sure you do it in a crisscross way. That way it'll be easier for you to evenly tighten them up. So let's do finger tight first, and then you start doing each corner. All right. That's pretty tight. Now I'm going to the other corner. That's pretty tight. And I'm going to this corner. That's pretty tight. And I'm going to this corner, and that's pretty tight. All right. Next up, we're actually going to set up the laser path, which is a gavel laser onto the tower. So by doing that is we have 4 screws here, and we are going to temporarily screw them into this part here. And the reason it being is because we have to align these screws to the top of the tower. So let's do that right now. My recommendation is don't tighten them up. You just want to get them on there so that you can move them. So up next, you want to align the screws that I just showed you. You want to align those here. So what we're going to do is we're going to lift up this machine here. We're going to lift up the machine, and I'm going to kind of like level it for now. And we want to align these accordingly, just like this. So you can line them up like this. You don't have to be perfect, but it'll make it easier. So once you have that lined up, remove your screws. Slowly remove your screws. Try not to move them a lot. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna slowly rotate it. And you are going to slowly input each one. My best recommendation is to get your wrench and already have the screw in like this, and just don't tighten it, but give it some sort of, not force, but make sure it's somewhere in there. Now, if for whatever reason your screws moved a little bit, it's okay. You undo it and slowly move it, and keep positioning the screws, and don't tighten them quite yet. We'll tighten them here in a bit. I have one more. Now that your machine is set up, this is the part where you can position it where you feel is appropriate. You can go front to the sides, and I'm gonna stick it about right there. And of course, I will get with my support team to make sure that this machine is pretty level. So, all right, now that we have the machine set up, we're gonna make sure that our actual unit is in an appropriate position. You could either leave it on top or put it down. Just make sure it doesn't go too far because you don't want anything to mess up. So in this particular case, we are just going to set it back just a tad bit. And the reason it being is because I want to be able to have enough workspace here so that I can work on everything and anything that I'm working on. Now, the next thing that you want to do here is you want to be able to connect your remote system. So let's go ahead and do that now so we can have that set up for you guys so it's easier to control it from the front rather than it is from the top manual system. So we're gonna take our in the bottom screw from the bottom. So what this is going to happen is it's going to allow for it to get supported by the bottom screw, because unfortunately you're not able to secure the top one. But that does that for now. Now the next big thing is you want to make sure that we have the power cord connected. So the power cord will go here, and then just so that everybody's reference, the machine is powered by 110 volts, so you don't have to worry about needing 220 or anything crazy like that. A couple manual checks that we'll do is before we power on, we want to make sure that we ensure where the emergency stop button is accessible. So that actual button is going to be right here. So right now it's pushed in, which means it's set up for safety. Now, before we go through the next steps, we want to make sure that we're able to identify each individual button on our actual unit. So let's go ahead and identify those now. So we have our Galvo power supply button, we have our laser switch button, and we also have our main power switch / emergency shutoff button. So the way emergency shutoff works is you push it in and the machine automatically shuts off. In order to get it out of the emergency safety, you just have to turn it clockwise and it'll self-release, and that is good to go. So now that your Haotian laser is now properly unboxed and set up, remember these critical points. Do not attempt to operate the machine without the guidance of your assigned support engineer. Keep your user manual readily available and refer to it frequently. Use this video as a reference during your setup and feature maintenance, and always ensure that your workspace is properly ventilated. Maintain a clean and organized work area, and always follow all safety protocols. We strongly emphasize the importance of working with your assigned technical support engineer for the initial setup and operation. They will guide you through the specific requirements of your machine and ensure everything is working correctly. Thank you for choosing Haotian Laser. Your success is our priority, which is why we provide dedicated technical support for every customer. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more tutorials and tips. In our next video, we'll cover software installation and configuration. Stay safe and happy laser cutting.